All right, CW Flash fans. Now we're going to do another video in regards to Iris West from Run Iris Run. And this is going to be focusing on the end of the episode where Barry, or excuse me, the Flash, Melting Point, and Iris were standing in, side by side, about to initiate the, okay, I'm going to transfer Flash's power from Iris back into the Flash. And Barry pretty much stopped the procedure from going on by saying, you know what, it's up to you. I'm going to leave it up to you. It's your choice if you want to get the powers back or not. And that really, that has fans divided. You have the side of, oh, you know what? Barry was so sweet. He was willing to, give up his speed to show how much he loves Iris and this and that. And then you have the other side, which I seem to lean towards in terms of, what the heck are you talking about, man? Like, no, like, why are you doing this? This was an accident how she got the powers to begin with. This isn't one of them it isn't one of those things where you know what, Iris, you're such a better speedster than I am, and I'm going to give you the responsibility of being the speedster of Central City while I just sit here and do nothing. If anything, this is almost as bad as when he was leaving it up to Wally to be the one to stop Savitar, while he just sat on his laurels. I mean, yeah, he was trying to help Wally get faster, but at the same time, he was handing over his destiny over to somebody else. And that is, I don't know, the Speed Force would have liked that. But then again, in Flash time, they seem to be tickling the Speed Force's feet to see how long it would take before they piss him off. I mean, at the end of that episode, even Barry asks, is like, well, do you think the Speed Force is going to be mad about what we did? And Jay's like, well, we'll just have to wait and find out. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But my question is this. I want to ask the question first, and you let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that Barry should have even considered Iris keeping the powers? Like, it would have made more sense. I still wouldn't have liked it, but it would have made more sense if, Iris and Barry had a few talks during the episode, which I know they had one or two, but it wasn't one of those scenarios where Iris was like, oh my God, I finally feel like I'm really contributing to the team because being stuck behind the desk, what Ralph said got under her skin, but at the same time, she never seemed to feel useless behind the desk. I mean, or, behind the microphone, computer, whatever you want to call it. But, Ralph pretty much called her out on terms of, you don't know what I'm feeling because you never put your life out there on the line and nobody's trying to steal your body. Two very valid points. I mean, but at the same time, he was really the tool or dick of the episode, and I really don't know or liked why the writers portrayed him in that way. I still feel it's more of a, you know what, we know we're going to get hate from this episode. I mean, when they had the leaks from the filming, because, a few weeks ago there were pictures of her in the speedster outfit, fans are already going nuts. So I feel like they made this episode with the idea, like, we know fans are going to hate it and this and that. There's going to be the haters out there. So why not just make it so Ralph represents the fans, while Iris is answering a lot of questions like, why are you team leader? You're useless. What do you bring to Team Flash and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But I just didn't like how they did Ralph like that, especially because it makes him an unlikable character. So it really makes it so if he does meet his demise at the hand of DeVoe, not a lot of people will miss him. But I'm just saying, when it comes down to the choice, I feel like that really shouldn't have happened. I mean, I think somebody else on YouTube or Facebook made the joke about, let Barry hand over his powers to Iris and then he'll just spiral into a lot of depression, and then he'll eventually find a way to get his speed back or make his own kind of speed and become Savitar. And then when the question arises, like, wait, how did you become Savitar? I was broken. I couldn't get my job back. My wife had my speed. I had nothing. And then, he'll become Savitar and then kill Iris. That would be hilarious. I mean, but really, it just made no sense why that line was. I felt like it was really forced. It wasn't one of those things, again, where it goes back to Iris felt like she was finally important when really she's proven herself in the past. Yes, I don't agree a lot with her being team leader. I don't like how the script, I'm talking about the season as a whole, when you really think about it, go back and watch from the first episode of this season up to the present. There have been a lot of times where Cisco or Caitlin or somebody else that's more experienced, I'm not just saying with powers, but, with their intellect and whatnot, they're not able to figure out a problem. they're not able to find that solution. But then out of nowhere, Iris is the one to find the answer, and that's it. Now in episode 1, I did like how she figured out the pattern that Peekaboo was using to, teleport from building to building, and then it was up to Vibe, Kid Flash, and Joe to stop her. I did like that. I really like that. But then we move on to more scientific things, and even Speed Force. It's just like, I'm not buying it. I know what they're trying to do with making it seem like, oh yeah, Iris, go Iris, like, she's really contributing. But you're really diminishing the other characters just to bring her up. I feel like the same thing is done on Supergirl, where you have Martian Manhunter. Oh no, my psychic or telepathic abilities are being blocked somehow. Or, just little things like, even like when one of my least favorite Supergirl moments was when she belittled James for being Guardian. It's like, you don't have powers. Like, literally, she has to make, again, I love Supergirl, but if season 2 was really not one of my favorites. It's like, not just the writers, but even Supergirl makes everybody around her feel small, just so when she shines, it shines, it's brighter, like she's portrayed in a light when she's actually left everybody else in the dark. That's kind of what the writers are doing with Iris West. They're really giving her a lot of, victories and whatnot, but at the expense, you're making light of the other characters who are far more experienced in their fields. Now, I again, I really don't know what else to say on this matter. It just did not make sense to me, even at the end where Barry was like, look, you didn't have to give up the powers and stuff. I'm just like, where is this coming from? It made no sense to me. Now, look, I'm a guy, so a lot of the I remember on a Facebook group I even posted about this, and a lot of the people that gave me backlash were females, like just like a guy, you don't understand. It's all about love and all. It was like a sign to show, what, this speed is like the last thing I have left, because I don't have my job, but my speed, I'll let you have it in this. But she didn't need the speed. She didn't deserve the speed. I don't know why it was written in there. I mean, literally, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm missing. Maybe it's because I'm a guy, I don't understand. But to me, it just did not make sense why that was inserted in there. Like I said at the beginning, it felt so forced that Barry allowed her to keep the speed if she wanted to. But I bring up the question again. Let's say if it was a Joe Smo, like, not Joe West, but let's just say it was an everyday average human being, no metahuman powers whatsoever. They accidentally got the Flash's speed, and then they were brought to Star Labs. And then, I mean, heck, if you want to make it like a Godspeed kind of moment where an unlikely person who uses the powers for good gets the speed, then we get to the end of the episode where you have this individual who has the speed in them, the Speed Force powers. Then you have Melting Point. Then you had the Flash. Do you really think Barry would have been like, hey, you know what? It's your choice if you want to keep the speed or not? No, it was done just because it was Iris. I dare say if it was Joe, we all know if Joe had those powers, he would be in a hurry to get rid of them. But let's say if it was like Harry or Captain Singh from the police department, and they had to give up the powers, there wouldn't have been a question. It would have been like, okay, Melting Point, let's get this thing started. But to have it where, Barry gave her the powers because, it literally made no sense to me. I was literally just like, what the heck is going on? That was me. I feel like if you had that same reaction, like the video or just comment in the section below. But I cannot for the life of me understand why it was a question or a choice for Iris to give up the powers. It made no sense to me. And I said it before. Why would you willingly give up your powers when the villain of the season is literally a major threat? Like, the Thinker isn't slowing down. So Barry, while you're trying to get faster to beat the pocket dimension speed so you can catch DeVoe, oh, you know what? After all that hard work I put in there, let me just give my speed to my inexperienced wife, and then I'll just sit behind a computer when he's not even a good leader to begin with, which was demonstrated in this episode. Because he doesn't really know how to teach others how to use their speed properly. So, or what? He was trying to teach Iris to, put out the flames by rotating her arms, and then trying to teach her how to phase through objects. But it was just ridiculous. So I'm glad Iris made the choice to give back the speed and all this and that. But it just seems so out of place. I mean, literally back in season 2, I didn't hate Wally West, but Barry made a very, very dumb mistake by, okay, you know what? I'm going to give up my speed to Hunter Zolomon, who's dying, just to save Joe's son. And as a result, you lost your speed for several episodes, nearly died trying to get them back, and you put the entire multiverse at risk for one person. You know, it's like that, the story, or the, what's that analogy of the trolley problem, where you have two sets of train tracks and you're an out of control trolley. You have to make a choice on either to run over one person or run over 5 people. It's like, which one do you make? But people will die either way. And at that point with the tachyon device, Barry was faster than Zoom and whatever, but it just didn't make sense for me towards the end of a season. You willingly want to give up your powers. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It just seemed like an out of place thing, almost like, you know, the musical, which I did enjoy, but the musical episode of The Flash last season with the Supergirl crossover is like, why are you doing a musical when Savitar is still out there? Like, we could have used one more episode of, you know, being sooner towards revealing Savitar's plan or getting development or answering a bunch of questions that went unanswered. But instead, we're going to do a sing-along. So imagine if Iris was given the speed. You know good and well Barry would have been moping around Star Labs and around the house. Like, you know, Iris is cleaning up, making food. He's just sitting there like, oh. Imagine them go, no, you know what? I wish Iris would have kept the speed, and then let's take them back to counseling. Let's go back to counseling and see how that session would go. That's what I want to see. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure I have more thoughts, but I want to cut this video here for right now. Based on how well this video does, I'll be more than happy to do like a part 2 and just do more, maybe even like a Q&A style. So what do you think? Do you feel like Iris giving back the powers was even a choice? Do you feel like it was forced into the script? Or just let me know your thoughts on this. This is really a topic of controversy. And as I said earlier, if there's something I missed in regards to my perspective, let me know, because I'll be more than happy to read about it.